2 minutes, a big thing.
It is.
2 minutes is a whole thing.
We're right in there. There's no intro.
No more intro.
Okay,
We
no
don't have
more
any
intro.
more money. We're out.
It's out. Are we paid up for that? But we're live.
We're out of money. We are live.
We need to everything.
Hanging out. It is the Kids on the Escalator for a Tuesday night.
Oh, you gotta be fresh.
How's your
good? Can you hear all right?
How's your headphones? Yeah, I can hear you. You're just
good.
Cutting out a bit. You know how it goes.
Really?
Sometimes I feel it. Do you ever feel like sometimes we're Bob and Doug?
Totally. That's why I'm in one ear. I'm in the other.
How you doing there, bud? You all right there? Is things holding on all right?
It's all good.
Everything going okay?
We should do a Bob and Doug skit one time. That'd be really funny.
Yeah. Well, they're funny.
They're hilarious.
Funny. You're funny. I'm not that funny.
Oh, come on. You're hilarious.
Here we are. No. I know funny people.
You just need
That's
to drink
how it works.
again. I started drinking again. You'd be hilarious. Then you'd be falling down.
Falling down, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
Falling down, hilarious, if that would be it. Hey, Mr. TikTok, how you doing on a Tuesday night?
I know. Look at me. I'm like ruling TikTok.
Someone went viral this week. Someone went viral on the TikTok this week. What'd you do there, man? What happened?
I went out to the Circle K.
Yeah.
And my daughter,
which used to be known as Max Milk, by the way.
Is that? Yeah, because it says it on the thing here. It even says Max. Oh no, there's that
it used to be
on there.
Used to be Max Milk.
So I picked up the shields. My daughter did actually. She went in there and picked up the book for me.
What are these, anyways? They're like the old school sticker book.
No, they're these shields. So shields with a Z. And you go to Circle K and you buy the book. And the book's like $5. This book thing here. And let me just.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tap it on there. I just want to make sure. So, and this reminds me when I was a kid because I used to get the hockey ones where you put the stickers in. And you get the Marvel ones with the superheroes. So this is really cool. She got me I don't have them down here on my house, but she got me a box of these shields. She's a sweet talker, my daughter. She got, so you get these little shields and you put them in the little holders.
Hold them up to the camera there, buddy. Let's see. Okay. Have a look.
There's the camera.
Right up there.
Okay. Can you?
Okay. Yeah. So you did a TikTok video where you were unboxing these, basically.
Yeah, my very first one, and it was the wasp, and that's how I said it. And there was a cat in there. There was a meow, and then I opened up a package, and then I said wasp, and I got over 70. It's 70.2 thousand views right now, and that was like yesterday, I think I did that, or the day before.
So you broke the record. I only had to go to say I had COVID to get 45,000. So
there you go. I just had to get some Marvel Pogs. They're basically like Pogs, right? That's what I thought, but they're shields. Yeah. So I got all those views on there. So thank you for all that TikTok. We just gonna start cashing in on there soon.
I know that's crazy with
Big
TikTok.
Bucks. But these are cool. Did you have Circle K's where you are?
Well, we've got one, I think, in like Langley that I've seen. There's probably some out here. I'd have to poke around. I haven't mostly 7-Elevens right now, but you piqued my interest here because I'm definitely thinking about trying to find one because I think Alex would dig these things.
You'd really like it. Of course, there's hologram ones, the random hologram ones that you find too, right?
Bankrupt us putting these things. How many? What's the whole set? Like you got
36 of them. There's 36.
36 in total.
Yeah.
So you got doubles already.
Oh, I got tons, so I can mail them to you. That's what I say if Alex gets one and he needs some. Because it's hard to, if you only get one at a time, man. Like Taylor got a box, as I say, she got the box of them. So the girls like in the area that we went to, she's like, oh, nobody asked for these. Nobody wants these. So I guess people just go there, get gas. They're like, nah, I don't want that Marvel crap. F that. I'm going hunting. They don't want the Marvel stuff. But yeah, I do. So I thought it was fun. And of course I collect all this Marvel stuff. So I got the nice book here, and that's how I spent my evening there, opening those and putting them in their proper packaging, their proper spots. And I got some holograms, and I was pretty stoked. And then I broke the internet there
You broke the internet. Video. I'm trying to break the internet by drinking this awful shit all week.
Tell everybody about that, 'cause I couldn't even partake in that.
Karen Bliss, music journalist extraordinaire, right? She's a correspondent for Billboard and all these things. She's been awesome over the years, covers all these bands, and randomly tagged me on a Facebook post saying that she was drinking what was she was drinking Nescafe Intense, and she's like, I know I'm never going to get invited back on your podcast again because I'm drinking this stuff. It was just a kind of a gag because, of course, the Journey for Java podcast on the other thing that I do, it's part of the Brenton on Tour universe.
Right.
Right. The BOT, whatever they call it. And Journey for Java is just part of that, which is, we talk coffee for fun and coffee stories. And she's like, called me late. We ended up having a chat late, like 10 o'clock at night. One her time, she was still caffeinated because she was driving this shit into her.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man. So then we decided that this week we're going to just drink nothing but instant coffee all week. And we started yesterday with Nescafe Rich. Today was Maxwell House today. Tomorrow is No Frills.
Oh, that's going to be a painful one, huh?
Oh man. You know what? My insides hate me. And then the thing is, I'm not starting it till noon because we don't really get this thing going till noon. So I'm not even getting up and getting caffeinated. So it's setting my whole day wrong. Things are messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know, up from down. I feel like Bizarro Superman right now. I'm kind of all over the place.
As I mentioned, if I did that, that would just ruin my whole morning bathroom routine. I think I don't know what would happen to me.
Anyways, we're having fun with it. You can find it all. I haven't really posted it anywhere. You can find it on the Brenton on Tour Instagram. I got the IGTV going. So, hey, a few hundred people have tuned in, not 70,000 on the Shields, but we're banging some content.
It's like my lamest video on there too. I put some really funny ones in there with
the TikTok
Grogu on there, and I got some John Byrne artwork and some of my own artwork. But yeah, anyway, I'll take the 70,000 views.
One show, big show today, or a show today. We're doing some stuff. We got a guest coming on.
Everything.
We're talking about all the things. Our buddy Todd Hancock from the Toddcast podcast joining us momentarily. He's, getting the children to bed and educated and all the things and fed and all the things. And Todd, of course, Sea Fox forever out here, which is for you Toronto people would be like an Edge 102 equivalent out there, part of that sort of family. And he was the afternoon guy forever. And then pivoted to one of the biggest podcasts in the land with his music podcast, Toddcast, and Toddcast podcast, which you were on.
I was on. Yeah, they played it today. I guess was it today they played it. I think I was listening to it.
Well,
today.
He puts it out in bits, so he put out a 10-minute thing with you yesterday, and then I think today he put the whole thing out in video form.
Okay, right.
And then it'll go and go and go. So
that was fun.
Anyways,
that was fun. That was really good.
Todd's coming on. You guys had a great chat. He's coming on later to have more. Just want to reiterate and touch on last week again. Huge thanks to Ken Tizard for coming on. It was his birthday weekend. A lot of fun. Mike, thanks for leading the charge on the interview on that, because I know that Ken, you dove into some really great stuff on that, and I know Ken really appreciated it. So Ken, thank you so much for coming on last week.
Thanks,
Come
buddy.
back anytime.
Yay! Cheers.
All right, Mike will be back next week when we dive into Nerds on Ice and a whole bunch of other shit. But for this week, let's get going. Where do you want to start, buddy?
Well, let's just start off with Star Wars. All right. So,
a
couple things about Star Wars is people need to know that are out there. I know there's a lot of Star Wars stuff going on and whatever, but see, us diehard Star Wars fans who are, there's some young ones too. I can only speak for the older ones like myself.
Sure.
Us older Star Wars fans, we're looking for information. We need information. That's why we watch it. We'll watch like Clone Wars.
Origin.
Yeah, like
Origin.
Just Easter egg, information. So we got Bad Batch right now, which, I'm going to give it, if it was, what are we rating this out of?
I mean,
5 lightsabers.
I did a movie review, a quick movie review, and I that I put up on the Dean Blundell site, and I gave it 1.5 Deaners out of 5 Deaners.
You did for Bad Batch.
No, I did it for another movie, but I'm just saying, if we want to do a ranking and keep conformity, then we'll give her a Deaner. Give her give her a Deaner out of 5.
Give it it's a half there. It's 2.5 out of 5 because it's 2.5
Deaners.
Yeah, out of 5. But it starts off right with the Order 66. Yeah, Order 66 there, right?
Yeah.
That's right, sort of. Yeah. So it's cool because the information comes in and you get to see behind the scenes and you see Grand Moff Tarkin in there and the way just everything's kind of changing. And these clones though aren't being taken in by it. But the thing is the information that we as Star Wars fans look for. Any kind of Easter eggs, and they've changed a few things in here that I'll go into once the series is done here. But as far as the action's cool. The action's cool, but it's just the same action you've always seen in Star Wars. It's the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same stuff. But as I say, us diehard Star Wars fans, we want information. Now, the newest Darth Vader comic, I have to describe this because if I showed it, it's going to just defeat the whole purpose when people just listen to the show. Now, This is another perfect example of why I am so into all this other Star Wars stuff and why I don't understand other people don't buy the comics or are complaining that they don't know the stories. Okay. How did the Emperor come up and get the power to clone Palpatine? Not Palpatine, sorry. What was the
He
guy's?
he is Palpatine.
Yeah, Plagueis, right? Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis.
How did Palpatine come up with the plan? This is almost a tongue twister to clone Plagueis.
Take your time.
All right. Okay. So how could he do this? How could he clone and make a person with force powers? Right? Have you ever thought about that? And wondered how the hell he did all that? Like that whole clone thing.
Okay, I've got a list of wonders how, and now that they've started cracking open the egg, then it opens up those. So I haven't asked this particular question.
You haven't thought about that though, huh? About how can he
he could clone somebody?
How can he make? Because it turns out that he's a clone of a clone.
Right.
All right. So he created him. So how did he create a person with force powers? Maybe he cloned another person. It's not a clone of Palpatine here. Snoke isn't. Okay. Snoke's who we're talking about here. So not Plagueis, Snoke. So yeah, I'm getting all the names mixed up. They're tongue twisting me. Okay. So I always wondered how Snoke came about. How do you create a person with force powers? So Vader goes to Palpatine, and Palpatine just put him through all this shit. So Vader's haggard. He's got machine hanging out, and he goes to Palpatine. He's like, I've had it with you. You and me right now. Let's do this. Palpatine just slaps him silly, like force-wise. Just treats him like a baby. This is going on in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
This is in the Vader comics.
This is in the Vader comic books. Okay, this is going in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. So this is all information that happened in between the movie. So through a lot of this, off and on, the Emperor Palpatine is just testing Vader, just bitch slapping him. Because in the comic book, Vader's second guessing everything, right? Like he has dreams of his old life, and what could have been about his kids and everything. And now he knows that he has a son. Okay, because he just chopped his hand off at the end of Empire. All right,
that's right.
So Palpatine's putting Vader through all this shit, man. Like hiring these other bounty hunters and stuff to take him out, to test him, send him to planets that are bullshit, that it's a trap for him, and take your lightsaber away. You got to fend for yourself. So he goes back to Palpatine. He's like, I'll kill you. Well, he can't. Palpatine's still so strong. So Palpatine says, you know what, Vader? You've done well. Come with me. I'm going to show you something. So he takes him downstairs in this great big building that Palpatine's living in, right? And first of all, Vader's getting this huge headache. Just like, oh my God, like what is behind this room?
Sorry, one sec. Yeah. He took him to the basement. Did he have like cool things on the wall?
No,
was it like an Emperor basement?
That's the thing. It was just dark. It's just dark. So Vader's like, what is he? Is he going to take me to kill me? Is he going to take me? And at this point, Vader doesn't care, because Vader's just like, you know what? Bring it on, man. Bring it on. You're a jerk. So Vader's getting headaches. What the hell? So he opens up this one huge room, and it's all those cobalt crystals. The red ones? Oh. Tons of them. No. Like just thousands.
We saw
of them.
those in Mandalorian, yeah.
Right? So he's got Palpatine's got a room full of this stuff. Takes him further down, and there's these big containers of little Snokes growing. And then he says to Vader, well, how do you think I did all this? And he takes him a little further in a glass jar. At the end of this hallway of all these Snokes is Luke's hand. And then they flash back to the end of Empire, and Palpatine laughing as he's envisioning Vader chopping off Luke's hand, signifying and initiating maybe that the Emperor was even in charge of that. So so when Luke's hand fell, Palpatine got his hand, kept it. That's how he created the Snokes. There it is. It's in a comic book. It's in a comic book.
To write that.
Pardon me?
Well, who gets okay? So
Disney and Marvel. Disney and Marvel.
Yeah,
sorry.
But they had the expanded book. They had the expanded books, right? And you had like the Zahn books, and it was sort of like they had to play within this the world, and any of those books that we read kind of had to play because they didn't have to change anything. Now that the 12 are done, or the 9 are done, sorry. Hopefully 3 more by somebody else. But anyways, now that the 9 are done, does that basically, do they go, that's where Vader can write, like they can write these backstories now, kind of carte blanche, and anyone can write anything, or they still have to stick to a story? Because that's
what they have meetings, dude. They have these huge meetings, and they're like, okay, here's our properties. Comic book guys, here we are, man. Marvel. Hey guys, we're all here with Marvel. Woo, how you doing? And they have, okay, we got all these properties. So you go to the head guy, Marvel. Here's what I got. Yeah. They say to Marvel, we got a Boba Fett comic, we got a Star Wars comic, we got a Darth Vader comic, we got a Princess Leia comic. Here's our storylines. Here's what we're looking at doing. All right. So they'll give them the idea, and then the writer will be like, oh boy, watch me go with this. And then they take off with it. All right. And then you got other guys who are doing the cartoons like Dave Filoni, who they're just like, who's doing the Bad Batch, right? That's his Um, and they're giving him just, go for it, buddy. You prove yourself. You're doing really, really well. So in the comic books, they're working together. It's kind of amalgamation of Disney working with Marvel Comics and giving people certain jobs. Like, okay, we want to bring this back, or we want an explanation for this. Okay, well, great idea.
Sorry, in 1 second before you go, how new is the Vader comic?
Brand new. Just picked it up last week.
I'm talking about in the series though.
Brand new. It's number 11.
It's episode 11 or it's issue 11.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's only 11 months basically into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Just for anyone listening going, oh, wasn't there always a Vader comic or whatever? But you're saying this is like an origin. This is a kind of like a Vader tale that they've dedicated to, which everyone should pick up if you want this kind of info.
They're going by series, right? So they're going by the series. The first series is in between Star Wars and Empire. And the second series here is between Empire and
Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, right? Yeah. So that's how us comic book guys know it. This is the first series and this is the second series. And there was a Kylo Ren comic book. I talked about it when we very first started our podcast way back in the day, and it explains how all that went down. And
crazy.
It's not what you think. But it's so funny because I talk to so many Star Wars people, and I get a little pissed off about it too, like the information that's not given to you from the movies. They leave out certain holes that are like, wow, that you told me, you showed Luke milking a cow animal thing, but you're not going to tell me how this burnt down. Like, come on, man. Like, where's your priorities here? But they're in the comic books. You can find them in there, and it's great art and it's great reading, man. I'm so stoked by it. So,
yeah, it's to your point about that. What's funny about that? Because JJ, when we had JJ on, he's like, I don't want any more origin stories. I don't want. I'm inundated, but I'm curious if this story came out, because this sounds killer. If this like a Vader dedicated series came out that explained a lot of this stuff. If he and other people would change their mind about it, because I'm like, give me as much information as I can, as long as it's done right. Like as long as it's not rushed and it's all, like we talked about with Falcon, where it's like, it could have been 2 extra episodes. So for you, like, would you want a Vader series?
There should be a Vader series. I think that would be, I don't know why they wouldn't. But you could tell the Bad Batch is for kids. Like they have a little girl, a real girl that's run away that's hanging out with them. It's like, it's so for kids. And then the other one we're going to talk about later that I thought was for kids was not. After I binge watched
about 3 episodes in, and I'm like,
funny.
Whoops.
I was like, yeah, your Uncle Chris was wrong. Sorry, Alex. He's got nightmares and stuff. But so my main point about all this Star Wars stuff that's going on, man, is this us real Star Wars guys who have a lot of information on it. We're watching this stuff for information. We don't watch the Bad Batch for the animation or for the breakthrough new characters. We're watching that to get nuggets of information, which is why to a lot of us older Marvel fans as well is why we liked the WandaVision, man. WandaVision was fantastic because every episode was like guessing and finding and Easter eggs. And it was a lot of fun, man, whether we were right or wrong. That was just a lot of fun. So us Star Wars fans, if you're a non-Star Wars person or you're and you're wondering like why we're getting all these Star Wars stuff and why is all these Star Wars fans eating it up, it's because they've made the commitment to have the continuity flow through from their TV shows to their comic books to their movies, which business-wise is super smart. And that's what Marvel did back in the day, right? Like they combined.
Lights out. It's amazing because like we were talking about it when we were reviewing with everybody that's ever come on the show when we were talking about Mando, and I think the common feeling is that everyone is super stoked when they walk into a carrier full of land speeders, and you're like, oh, so that's where they store them.
Like
for me, I was all the little things like that. I was like, someone needs to be thinking about that, and it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder when you talk about it like that, and obviously the debate amongst people about the last 3 movies. When you talk about it in that regard, where they open it up. And with those movies, they had 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours to do whatever they could do to make it happen. It doubles down on probably disappointment for people when you tell a story about, how they probably cloned Snoke through Luke's arm or through Luke's hand. Yeah. And they couldn't sit in that room. And this is where I'd like to get Lashley on again, Ken, who was on a couple of weeks ago. He's been in those meetings. Yeah. It's like no one dropped like this. Okay, guys, we need to put all this backstory stuff in there. Or are they like, no, let's make it like this. And then, and I feel like it left a room for disappointment. And especially now that the way you break it down like this, for sure, I think if people think about it the way you just did, and break it down the way you just talked about, I think they'll
once
be
I get
more
the names
disappointed
right.
with. Yeah,
Once I got the names right. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, dude. But
Larry
the funny thing is,
Snoke, you know,
yeah, the funny thing is, and this is the one thing that, as a Star Wars fan, I knew there was something wrong with the last movie. To me, and it was. I have a lot. Obviously, there's tons of Star Wars fans that agree with me on this. It makes you dig. So there's something about it that bugged me. So the more I looked into it, the more I found how the actors were really trashing that movie at the end. First, we had was it Bodega there saying that wow, great to be picked this because I'm black. That's the only reason I got this job, and it was made known to me. Like that sucks. And secondly, Ridley, what's her name?
Daisy Ridley. Yeah.
Daisy Ridley. Opening up and saying, you know what? They had no idea what was going on with that last movie until we came to it. Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be my dad right up until by the end of the second movie. But Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be her father. And I was like, oh. And then they're like, they threw this together. There was no plan. There was no 3-movie plan. And then I was like, oh, you're busted. And they lied to everyone. And they told everyone that we had this all planned out, this intricacy. They lied to all us Star Wars fans. They did not have it planned out. And I smelt it. I smelt the slap together.
Machete is cooking.
You smell what the machete. Oh, I'm stealing that. You smell what the machete is cooking. But yeah, dude, there's something wrong with it. And then it's funny to hear Daisy Ridley talk about it and just be so just like they did. I love the interview. And she's on like a red carpet somewhere when she does this interview. And she's just like, they didn't have a clue. She's laughing about it. Like we were all so glad that was done. And they tell you one thing and then you're not supposed to talk about this. And then that's not actually what's happening. And they don't have a clue what's happening. And yeah,
encouraging about the Kenobi series then.
Oh yeah, that'll be great, right? Again, my favorite Jedi, and probably my favorite actor, I would say too, from like the mid series there. Ian McGregor's fantastic, right? Like just great actor. And I think he's going to be surrounded. I think that one's going to be kind of like The Mandalorian and kind of like WandaVision, where he's just surrounded by wicked actors, right?
I think, well,
we'll say what you want about Hayden
knowing what we know
Christensen.
how The Mandalorian went and all that, and even Rogue One, like given where they were given a little bit of rope there to kind of make a different kind of flick. I know Solo takes a lot of shit, but it was.
I liked it. We just rewatched it.
It had to be rescued a little bit, but I get it. But I think in this particular case, you're gonna have. There's no way they're gonna let. Sorry, I want to say there's no way they're gonna let it go bad. But if they